The Psychospiritual Therapy Institute, which we of the Luke Stera Leadership Foundation, in collaboration with Miuc, have set up, is a project that I am very excited about, and I am very happy that I am part of the birthing of this project. It is aimed at healing of pastoral agents that run into problem on account of widespread trauma, on account of burnout, on account of addictions, and all kinds of problems that pastoral agents do have. But with this project of the Psychospiritual Institute, we shall now be training experts in psychospiritual therapy who will be available in various countries, various dioceses and congregations to help their colleagues who are in difficult life situations of an emotional and psychological nature.
Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome again to Capuchin TV and to this special program called Taking Care of Your Biopsychosociotechno-spiritual Self. My name is Joyzy Pius, Egunjobi, Reverend Father. We started this program last week, and just to remind you, it will be running on Thursdays, every Thursday from 2:30 Eastern Time, East African Time. Today I have with me a guest, a special guest. She's a psychologist, a counseling psychologist who studied at University of East Anglia for a master's degree, and the University of Imperial de Costa Rica, in San Jose. That's where he had a doctorate degree in counseling. She's a senior lecturer at the Psychospiritual Institute, Marist International University College, Nairobi. She's a well-known person, published author of many books, and of course, she studied and engages in the researches in the area of mental health, first aids, and of course in the African cultural understanding of counseling and nutritional healing. With me today is Sister Dr. Elizabeth Ngozi Okpalaenwe, the sister of Holy Rosary sister. So welcome, sister.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Yes. Hello, viewers. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Today, we'll be talking about this mental health issue that people talk about every now and then. Depression. And it has become so common in the recent time that you see everybody talking about, I'm depressed, I'm suffering from depression, or this person is going through depression. And we echo it every now and then that some of us don't even know exactly what it is. Once we just have a change in mood, we say, I am depressed. So we'll be looking at this, what is this depression all about? And of course, according to the WHO, the World Health Organization, depression cases in Kenya start at 1.9 million individuals in Kenya have depression. Maybe more than that. But what is this all about? So that's what we'll be dealing with in this program today. So our guest is here to help us understand what it is, how it comes about, how do you know if you have depression or not, and of course, what are we to do to get out of this depression? So Dr. Elizabeth Ngozi Okpalaenwe, what is this depression?
Thank you very much, Father. Now, talking about depression, we all know that we have different problems that come up every day. We have so many issues now. People are struggling to get job. People have lost their job. People cannot find food to eat. People have one stress and anxiety or the other. So we all feel depressed in one way or the other. And it is a normal thing. It is a natural thing to feel depressed. But it becomes a problem when that depression remains more than 2 weeks. You feel continuously sad and depressed and worried about all these things, and it begins to affect your normal way of living and your normal way of thinking. We say that that person is moving into what we call clinical depression.
Okay.
And when you enter into clinical depression, it affects so many areas of your life. First of all, you will find it difficult to do most of the things you normally enjoy, or eat things you normally enjoy. You will find it even difficult to maintain your relationship or your friends. You become agitated, anxious, and many times you are angry. If all these things are happening and after 2 or 3 days you get over them, that is okay. But it moves into depression when it is up to 2 weeks and nothing can change your mood.
Okay, so you are saying that this depression is about how we feel.
How we feel, how we think, how we behave, and how we interact with one another. If these things changes at the course of 2 weeks continuously non-stop, then there is a problem. And there's a problem that need help.
Okay, so when somebody is having this feeling of not wanting to relate with people, if I understand with you, you want to shut down, you are low in energy, in the spirit, and which actually happens, like you said, every now and then. Something can just happen. Maybe I just even witnessed an accident right now and I just, I can feel down about it. But if it continues for more than, how many weeks again?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
From 2 weeks then, because there are in different stages.
Okay.
We have mild depression, we have moderate depression, and we have severe depression. Okay. And there are so many things that can create depression. First of all, if at the most it stops you from doing what you're supposed to do, or going to your job, or interacting with people as you used to, or even if it makes you not to see any reason to live, you feel like ending it.
So it can lead to suicide?
Yes, it can lead to suicide, and it can lead to what we call bipolar. You can get into mania, you can get into hypomania, depending on the person. So if you go into these different stages, probably you need somebody to help you and explain what is happening to you, for you to understand. It means you are no longer in your normal state. You have moved from the normal state of getting angry and getting over it. Yeah. Once from 2 weeks upwards, it means that it's becoming difficult for you to handle.
Okay. So depression, it's something, and it's not just the feeling of, if I understand it clearly, not just the feeling of feeling low.
No, it's more than that.
Well, we say that is natural. Of course, everybody feels low at one point or the other, okay, but when it becomes prolonged, more than normal, like it's taking toll of somebody, affecting your daily activities, you can't relate in your family the way you used to relate, at work, maybe you don't even have the energy to work, right?
Yeah.
So it
you
becomes
begin to
problem.
isolate yourself, want to be alone, not want somebody to talk to you, to talk you out of that feeling. Then it means there are more to it.
Okay. So I know you have mentioned some of these things, but I still want to ask again, what actually causes this? What causes this depression?
Okay, there are so many factors that can lead to depression. One of them is environmental factor. if you are in an environment where people are so negative, they don't see anything good, and where people are talking to you in a more depressive way, you are bound to pick it up from that environment.
So somebody can talk to me in a depressive way?
Yeah, somebody can start saying things like, now some people don't have job, and then like in a family where the father or mother has lost a job, and the children want so many things. They want to be bought everything and things like that, and they don't have money for it. It can lead to depression. And then if, for example, even the students who are on holiday now, if they sit down in the house doing nothing, and in the morning you wake up, you don't know how the money will end, you don't know where to get your daily meal, you don't know when the school will start, it can create a lot of depression. Yeah. And then another one, it can be also genetic.
Okay, so you said it is environmental factor.
Yeah.
Okay, so genetics.
Yeah, it can be inherited. Like if the parents naturally, maybe they are not happy people, and they are always in that sad mood.
So somebody can be naturally not a happy person.
Yeah, there are some people who most of the time have negative thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, they think bad things that will happen to them or may happen to them, even it has not happened. If they continue with that kind of line of thought, it might lead into depression. Okay. There are some families that when you go, you cannot see people laughing, smiling, and interacting very well. The father is on his own, the mother is on her own, the children they are on their own. So that kind of family might find it difficult to really think positively. Yeah. And I say it can lead to depression. And if it continues for a long time, the person kind of, imbibe in it and start behaving like we, thinking that that's the normal way of life.
So thinking. So somebody was saying that people, according to a research, that people who are religious or spiritual are less likely to be depressed than those who are not spiritual or religious. How about that? I want to briefly just say that before we go on break.
It depends on individual.
Okay.
We are not all the same. If you have a tendency to be depressed or to be negative even before you become a religious, and if you have not dealt with it as a person, it cannot just go away. You find yourself exhibiting that in your community, and even among the sisters. But if you have that tendency and you are aware and you have worked on that, you can easily come out of it and become a positive and happy person.
So we can overcome it.
Yes.
Okay, when we come back, we'll begin to look at again what are the things to feel. I know Doctor have mentioned some things about that, how we can recognize this depression, the symptoms, the signs and symptoms. But when we come back, we talk more about that, and we also look at how to deal with this situation. If it's something that we feel every now and then, how can we overcome it? If it's something that becomes clinical, how can we deal with it?
The Psychospiritual Therapy Institute, which we of the Luke Stera Leadership Foundation, in collaboration with Miuc, have set up, is a project that I am very excited about, and I am very happy that I am part of the birthing of this project. It is aimed at healing of pastoral agents that run into problem on account of widespread trauma, on account of burnout, on account of addictions, and all kinds of problems that pastoral agents do have. But with this project of the Psychospiritual Institute, we shall now be training experts in psychospiritual therapy who will be available in various countries, various dioceses and congregations to help their colleagues who are in difficult life situations of an emotional and psychological nature.
Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy, hail our life and sweetness and our hope. To you do we cry, poor banished children of Eve. To you do we send up our sighs, mourning and weeping in this valley of tears. Turn then, most gracious Advocate, your eyes of mercy toward us, and after this our exile, show unto us the blessed fruit of your womb, Jesus, O merciful, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary. Amen.
To get Hail Holy Queen as your skiza tune, send skiza followed by code 738-10258 and send it to 811.
Our masses will start from 6 o'clock in the evening, East African time.
Capuchin TV, a Catholic broadcasting ministry. Tunafuraha kukujulisha kwamba misa takatifu ya kila siku ni kama ifuatavyo: saa 1 kamili asubuhi, saa 7:30 mchana, saa 12 jioni na saa 2:30 usiku.
Go forth, the mass is ended.
Thanks be to God.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, tunakuenzi na kukudhamini.
Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV.
Welcome back again. My name is Reverend Father Joyzy Pius Egunjobi, and with me is Reverend Sister Dr. Elizabeth Ngozi Okpalaenwe, the senior lecturer at the at the Psycho-Spiritual Institute, Marist International University College in Kenya. So again, she has been talking to us about depression. We have mentioned what depression is, when it becomes a clinical depression, when it is lasting more than sufficient time of about 2 weeks or more. And she also have talked about some causes of it, you know, when especially she mentioned this great one of them, when you have negative thoughts, that it could be a great thing. And we're saying that it depends on the person, that there are different factors like environment, you know, when find himself can cause or can be, you know, make somebody to be prone to depression. And also that it can run in families. People have this nature to begin to think that their sense of purpose and finding meaning in life could be very low. So they may be more prone to depression. But doctor, what are the symptoms? I know you mentioned a bit of them the other time. What are the symptoms of this depression?
Yeah, before I go to the symptoms, I want to also say that those who are terminally ill can also be depressed when they stay too long in that illness.
Okay.
And at times, the kind of medication people take, like people who take a long-term medication in order to heal from one illness or the other, can also lead them to depression. So, and that's why it is very important to know the cause before you start treatment.
Okay.
Then there are series and several of symptoms that will tell you whether somebody is heading towards depression or not. First of all, you will notice that the person's mood has begun to change. Somebody who used to be very cheerful and happy and outgoing, all of a sudden begin to isolate him or herself and swinging mood from one to the other. The other time you see the person happy, the other time the person is sad without any cost. Because the other one, there's a reason to get angry. But this one will start getting angry here and now without any cause. And he will start feeling low self-image. He will feel now that his energy has gone low and the knowledge of himself has reduced to level, and he feels that people don't understand him or her anymore. Then the person might also decide to, slump back by not having enough energy to do what you normally do in day-to-day activity.
Okay.
Some will even take excuses from work to stop going to work. And it's not that they have any other thing, just that the mood they are in, they cannot come out from it. When that mood becomes persistent, it can make the person to remain angry forever or for a very long time. And this depression can lead the person to either become really depressed.
Depressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
tell us more about that. This depressed.
So like the person has reached the mood where he or she can no longer help himself to come out of it.
Wow.
And the person begins to lack confidence in him or herself. And this kind of depression can lead the person to start taking alcohol or drink.
So there's a connection.
Yeah.
There could be a connection between depression and alcoholism.
Yes. Often they go into that thinking that it will help them to come out of depression.
Okay.
And you know that alcohol affects the brain. And when the brain is affected, it becomes very difficult for the person to really operate properly. So instead of bringing them out, it took them into what I call depressed. Yeah. And some people, on the other hand, depending on the behavior of each person, can move into mania. Mania, he becomes so high, so outgoing, overreacting, overdoing things. And that kind of thought is very deceptive, because you will think that the person has overcome whatever the problem is. But you see, they can display themselves outside. When they go back to their houses, then they move down to that low self-esteem and depression.
Is that related to being bipolar?
Yes.
Okay.
That is bipolar 1.
Like a mood swing?
Yes. The people enter into bipolar 1. And when they enter that, again, it can lead them to do so many things, trying to get out of it. But often they do things that instead put them back into it, like taking drug and maybe drinking, moving out with friends of their type, thinking that when they mix up with these friends, with their energy, they can surmount it. But it doesn't really help them. Another big issue about one of the symptoms you will notice if you are with the person in the house, you will see a very big change in behavior.
Okay. So it is noticeable.
Yes.
Okay.
It's noticeable.
So how do we notice this?
Now, if you know the person you are living with or you're dealing with, you know how the person used to behave. And when that behavior begins to change and it becomes constant for at least 2 weeks and above, then you know that there is something happening. They might not share it with you, but if you're really observant, you will know that
like a child or an adult that have been in the house, that used to do house chore, is always out there watching movie with people, then suddenly he goes into the room not coming out.
And not wanting to eat.
Be with, okay.
To eat. It can affect, it can also create eating disorder. He may not like to eat. It might affect the sleep. He may not be able to sleep because he's preoccupied with this mood and does not allow him to do the normal thing, what we call normal thing we do.
Wow, that must be serious.
Yes. Depression is not easy, but because people each day feel depressed and get out of it, maybe you'll not be able to know those who are not able to get out of it. It may be normal for some people, they can easily enter and get out of it, but for some people, it becomes very difficult. And that's why I said, when you go for a help, they will classify the depression to know at which stage each person is, and then know how to treat it.
Okay, so thank you for saying that. I'm happy to hear that and I'm sure our viewers are happy to hear that it is treatable. Yeah, it's something that can be treated, something that we can get out of, something that maybe we can even take precaution from instead of to enter, because it's not just about the treatment. Like I always say that or people say prevention is better than cure. But and I've added that prevention costs less than treatment.
Yes.
So I don't want to get into it. So what do I do not to get into it?
Okay, not to get into depression.
Yes.
Is to talk about your issues as they come each day.
Okay.
Find a friend that you can confide in to share what happens to you. And you can also find a professional counselor or psychotherapist or psychospiritualist that can help you understand what happens to you day to day. Like I give example, one day a man came to his house and there was this flash of light. So his computer, his fridge, every electrical appliances in the house got burnt.
Oh, that's going to cost a lot of money.
He was depressed.
Wow.
And you normally, in some African country, we don't know about counselors. We know only about doctors, the medical doctors. So he ran to the hospital and told the doctor that he's dying. This is what has happened. Doctor did not listen to what it feels to lose all those things. Instead, he sent him to the lab.
Wow.
So he went to the lab. They couldn't find any sickness from the lab because he was suffering from feelings, from emotion, from psychological torture. But the doctor was looking at physical. So when the result came...
And that happens a lot of time, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when the result came, there was nothing. But the man is still suffering. So many of the times we need the medical doctors and the professional counselors to work together in order to help people. But many times, because they don't know how to go about it, they send you to the test.
Okay. Yeah. So you are saying that to get out of this or not to get into it, we need to learn how to share.
Share with people.
Can that be translated into we need to enhance or promote our social interaction more than what it is becoming today?
The problem with social interaction is that many people don't know how to talk to people in an empathic way. And to listen without judgment or condemnation. So when you go to social, they will even ask you questions like, why don't you do that? Why did you do that? That often does not help the person to really come out of depression. First of all, we need to learn how to listen to people without judgment, without condemnation. Even when you sympathize with people, it doesn't really help much. But when you empathize and put yourself in the shoes of that person, you will help the person not just to understand, but also to accept the situation he or she finds himself. So like there's a need to even train our people, the young people, on the right approach to help and to minimize the depression. At times what people can say to you can create more depression than the one you have.
Okay. So because I was actually thinking about it that if somebody is socialized, he should be able to help than somebody isolating.
Yes.
Yeah, but okay, even in the socialization, that can also be a problem.
Yes, if it's not handled well.
Wow. So it's everywhere. So thank you, Doctor. We are very grateful for this time you have with us. And I think we enjoy this program. It's about depression. That's what we are treating today. Then this program is actually, again, it's all about how to deal and how to treat ourselves well, holistically, taking care of our biopsychosociotechno-spiritual self. Doctor is, again, senior lecturer from the Psychospiritual Institute, Marist International University College. So thank you for being with us. Thank you, viewers, for your time for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be coming up with many other programs to help us to understand ourselves and to deal with our lives in such a way that we are not, we don't just become unhappy people. We need to be happy people. So I'll see you again next week. Every Thursday, again, is when we have this program from 2:30. Thank you for viewing.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Psychospiritual Therapy Institute, which we of the Luke Stereo Leadership Foundation, in collaboration with Miuc, have set up, is a project that I am very excited about, and I am very happy that I am part of the birthing of this project. It is aimed at healing of pastoral agents that run into problem on account of widespread trauma, on account of burnout, on account of addictions, and all kinds of problems that pastoral agents do have. But with this project of the Psychospiritual Institute, we shall now be training experts in psychospiritual therapy who will be available in various countries, various dioceses and congregations to help their colleagues who are in difficult life situations of an emotional and psychological nature.
Liturujia Katoliki, sakramenti, kuungama, ekaristi, sala, nyimbo, neno la Mungu, ibada takatifu. Jiunge nasi kila siku ya Jumapili saa 1:30 usiku na Jumatatu saa 4 asubuhi kwa liturujia Katoliki na Padre Boniface Mukwe.